Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to another EVE Online video. In today's video we are going to start with an update on the Wardeck that is still raging. We are actually going into the third week of this Wardeck and something did happen, although it was just basically a flash in the pan as far as I'm concerned, because while I was sleeping the enemy came to detail and they reinforced 3 of my structures, so you are notified by that both through the notification system, but you also receive emails about your structures. For instance, here you can see the Wolf's Den is under attack and then has lost its shield. After that they went to manufacturing, which had then lost its shields, and then finally reprocessing max yield, same story there. So these 3 structures were reinforced. That means that they have a reinforcement timer that starts. You can't change your fittings anymore, and there are some restrictions that happen when you lose your shields, but to be honest, that is not a time to panic, because it is really only the first timer that's available at any time for the attacker. After that, you start to play by the rules set by the defenders, of course, and mine came out like a little bit less than 2 days after the attack, and you know, it was like in the middle of my prime time, so that I can be online and potentially try to organize a defense if something like that were to be needed. This happened as well in the last war I was in, so they attacked my structures for the shields and then they actually came back for the armor, and at that point they convote me, I think it is. I think you either get convote or you receive an email. That's something that they'll often do, right? Hit your structures once and then they tell you, well, do you want to save the structures? You can always pay as ISK. I never really go in on such an offer. Rule number 1, of course, I repeat it whenever we talk about the war, but it is an important one. Don't fly and don't deploy what you can't afford to lose. So if they want to grind through my structures, grind through the 3 timers, then well, that's what they have to do, and we will see what we would do after that. But this time during this war we had the shields down. I came online, got in my stealth bomber, looked around a little bit, which is something that I do every single day actually. At this point it's really also almost the only thing that I do, because I'm not going to go exploring around in my Ishtar or anything like that. Don't want to get caught you know, unawares, but I also don't feel like jumping to another jump clone and doing the regular stuff away from the war. No, I want to stay here, see what happens around detail, so I can give you guys updates. And unfortunately, yeah, they never showed up, so I was ready. I was also basically thinking perhaps I should, you know, get into a conversation with someone from a bigger group that's also being wardecked by these guys. But on the other hand, I was like, everyone already kind of knows that if they're gonna go for the armor timer, this is when and where they have to be. And so I think quite a few groups will already have been ready. In fact, quite a few of you guys sent me emails with quite a bit of support tips. You know, if I needed help, I could have asked for quite a bit of it. And there was even some guys ready to call for some call to arms for some of the other groups and things like that. So really cool, of course, to have all of those options, but it also shows that the Wardecks, while very annoying for people that have to defend against them, are not impossible to defend against. In fact, I feel like it is very difficult to really take down all of the structures when you're attacking. You need to basically be in a very comfortable large group, organized group, to be able to do so with impunity, especially when you have multiple Wardecks going. So I actually feel like it's really pretty baller that they came up with, I think it was 3 Leshaks from what I've heard, that did go through the shields of 3 of my structures. Why not all of them? I suspect that they have been interrupted by potentially another group that might have spotted them and then eventually formed up and basically formed them out. Perhaps they showed up, perhaps it was through intel channels. All of that stuff, of course, plays in the sandbox, but yeah, at least, you know what, they came and they gave that first push. They gave themselves a chance to come into the armor timer, but that's a completely different story. You can go through the shields whenever you want. When it comes to the armor, yeah, everyone knows exactly when they'll have to attack, and the way I set my structures, all of them are around the same belt, basically on the same grid. So if they're gonna attack one of them, it is super super visible. You know exactly where they are as well. Also a big advantage to people that want to defend, of course. All of these structures are public, so you'll be able to be tethered like maybe what is it, like 5,000 meters away from where they're attacking a structure. You could get there, be tethered, plan your offensive, your counter-offensive, whatever. You'll always have, from a safe place, a view at the enemy, which I think is pretty damn cool. It's more by accident than by design. I just love the place. It was built very close to the planet in Detail, and I said, well, if I could build my structure around this, it would really be a little corner close to that gas planet that would be for co-incorporated. So that's why I set that up. But by accident, it's also become kind of a defensive place that will not be that easy to attack, because if you gotta take down several structures, that means you gotta go through all these times. You either bring a lot of ships or you have to stay on the field for quite a bit longer, prolonging the chances that you'll be attacked by a third group. So defenders definitely have big advantages in the Wardeck as well, and we're only talking about the armor timer, so this never came to fruition for this Wardeck. As I've said, I've been patrolling around in my stealth bomber a little bit as well. I'm trying to see this war as an opportunity to experience a different side from the sandbox in EVE Online, and potentially also learning from this. I mean, I've got a good stealth bomber that I think can hit above its weight and below its weight, because it's got a scram and a web, so it's actually able to catch smaller targets as well. In the previous war, I'm not sure if I can quickly show that to you guys. War history maybe? Finished wars. And where was it? That's a good question. Was it the Death Wish one? No, that's 2020. I think it could be here. No, no kills. Let's see if it's here, where I actually got a kill. This is the one where they actually came for me in pretty interesting. All the way in Solitude. So they actually attacked me with 2 Helas and then a Cinnaball as well while I was ratting or running a mission. I'm not even sure what I was doing anymore. In my Dominics, they caught me off guard. It was a pretty good fight, I would say, but of course I did get caught there by surprise, so I lost one. And in another one I actually got, let's see if it's here, I actually caught an enemy stealth bomber. Let's see, can I find... Maybe I should just go for my own kills. That'll probably be easier. Let's go there. So I love to... So it's going to be interactions and then the combat log and then show my kills. And there should be a stealth bomber here somewhere. There it is. And so I really like to be in a stealth bomber, but it is really popular for the enemy as well, of course. You're cloaky, you can very easily scout with it, you can hit battleships, you can hit transport ships, and you can even hit smaller exploration ships with that, for instance. But that is why I had an interceptor ready. I was actually Katsuko's interceptor that was ready for PvP, and so I managed to counter that stealth bomber option with just basically one PvP fit ship as well. That is fast, too nimble to really be hit effectively by that stealth bomber. And so that's how I got, for instance, this stealth bomber kill. And that's stuff that you learn through Wardecks, through experimenting with, you know, sometimes being the victim, sometimes being the victor. That all depends. But yeah, for me, right, I've got a stealth bomber at the moment for scouting. But if they would come in and I notice a scout of theirs, I potentially have an interceptor ready as well to counter that. And after that you could go for some battleships. I've got a PvP battleship that I like to use. I think that one would be here, or where is it? It were these kills when Wingspan actually dropped on me back in wormhole space. I used an Armageddon to actually take down a bait mining ship and then two of their Stradioses as well. That was a very cool fight, of course, but it's only by doing that you will learn these lessons. And Wardecks, you have to see these as opportunities to learn these lessons, to get into those ships and to find the ships that work for you and that will work in the different situations. As I said, I love Interceptor, Stealth Bomber for general use, and then I also have a PvP focused battleship that I feel can sustain itself quite well and have very easy damage applications with missiles and drones. So that's the state. I'm going to keep I think staying in Dital unless it keeps dragging on and nothing happens. I might actually move to a different base of operation or try to do something else. But for now, I'm keeping an eye on everything, which means I'm playing a little bit less EVE Online. Yeah, I'll keep you guys up to date on what happens there. Let's move on to the market as well, because that one has changed substantially. And during EVE Talk, I actually noticed some opportunities. Since I'm here anyways, we might as well take a look at those. So where did I notice some cool stuff? In the Tector ship, for instance, we had the Basilisk. Look at that. That looks like a pretty promising chart. Definitely at a low point. And the buyers, there's one buyer in Jita going for 170 million ISK, and then they're in perimeter, they're competing for 171.5. If in any of my trades made, have I ever done a Basilisk trade? Not successfully, apparently. I've always focused more on the Guardian, but I think I'm gonna go with a pretty aggressive one. If you look at this chart, 180 is still like below the entire chart, so this really makes too little sense not to take advantage of that. And I'm hoping that with these lower volumes and people hesitating to really compete very actively on these sell prices, you can see how low the volumes are, people will not be massively relisting. I'm basically hoping that an aggressive buy order can net me some of these buys a bit more effectively. So we're gonna jump straight to 175 million ISK, quantity 1. I'm gonna buy it in Jita itself, which is a bit of a mistake because I'm paying more taxes, but I'm on the lazy side. So this is what we'll do. We'll end up spending 181 million ISK on this one. And then if I could sell it at one of the high points, that would be amazing. So here, this is definitely one that I want to try. So let's put this one up. There we go. Let's see if it triggers. And there, the Guardian, I think, was heading there. Still a bit, look at that. Look at how promising these Tech2 ship charts are, though. Low points at 200 million. That's on average. You can probably buy them for 180 from time to time. And if you look at my trades made for the Guardian, bought for 180, sold for 239. So I've definitely made trades here. Unfortunately, they're buying for 187. So I need a little bit more patience. And I'm actually going to also Basilisk do a search because I'm trying to. So I'll add that to the market quick bar. And then here I can add the texts, add additional text. So I'm trying to buy one for 175 million. With the taxes, it's a little bit more expensive. I really need to work on my Caldari Navy rep to get all of that down, or move to the player on trade up, which would actually be the smart move. But well, I'm being a little bit lazy at the moment. So there was, I think, another Tech2 ship that I wanted to look at. The Hawk was pretty low, although not as good a chart, of course, as with the Guardian for trade opportunities. We're talking landing on 35 million for the average. And look at the lack of buyers here, less than 32 million for the buyers. I'm actually going to try and grab one of these as well, just for 32 million flat, I think. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Gonna give that 3 months. Buy this in Jita Station. That'll be fine. Not even as a trade option, but just because it is. Oh, and someone made a mistake trying to buy 10 of them, but didn't get the jump range going apparently. So that's a bit of a mistake. But yeah, trying to buy this just because it's so cheap, and it's actually something that might be useful for some abyssal content later on. The Heretic and the Saber were down as well. Look at those two. Saber's trying to buy for 55 million, and then the Heretic going for 51 million. Try to find 51 million on the chart. That is so low. We're just coming off of a serious downtrend. If I'm gonna grab a cheap Heretic, it is going to be now. And I want to do that because I think at some point CCP is going to come back to those interdictors and is going to bring them back a lot more in the meta, which should increase their trade volumes, make them more popular. So I want a really cheap one. 51 million here, 64 million here, but this should help. 252 as the dominating sell order here. That should keep everything in check here a little bit as well. And then in the player owned trade hubs, yeah, nothing to be spotted there. So I'm actually going to try again to grab one for 52 million and give that 3 months again, and then press buy. Yes, and then I'll definitely trade worthy especially on a spike, on a lack of supply. So this is worth it. Really risky because of the super low volumes, but I feel like this is one where I want to be ready when or if CCP decides to change things for the interdictors. So Heretic, let's do a search for that. Add to the quick bar, and I'm trying to buy this one. Additional text for 52 million. Okay, let's do that. And was there anything else? The scimitar, nope, that was a no. Was there any stealth bomber? So here is the Purifier chart. Starting to look interesting, landing on 25 million. The buyers are at 20 million. Yeah, you have to, I think, try this. Look at the lack of demand in some of these Tech2 ships. It is going to create potentially a lot of opportunities. In trade made, Purifier, bought for 22, sold for 30 million. So I have a definite opportunity to do better than that. And I'm going to go aggressive again. I'm going to go 10% above these buy prices to give myself the best possible chance to make this happen. So we're going to place a buy order. We're going to put it down for 22 million. And we're actually going to try to buy 4 of them, get as close to 100 million as possible, give ourselves 2 months, press buy on that one as well, and then I'll add that for my own bookkeeping. Purifier, let's look for that, add to the quick bar, and I'm going to try to basically replicate that trade. So we're trying to buy these for 22, not 2, but 22. There it is. Okay. Like that. And so in the Tector ships, yeah, I noticed during Eve Talk, some of these are doing really well. Others are on their way. You can clearly see that we were able to stay above 25 million for the Nemesis for quite a while. But now 22 million, it's getting there, and then it's going down to less than 21 very quickly. So this one, maybe a little bit more time, and then it's looking pretty good. And then for the Hound, that one is dropping off below 25 on the average prices as well. 22 million, someone is already trying my trade, so I'm gonna scope it out. But look at the lack of demand here compared to the supply. That is also now far more aggressive in its pressure on the price, because of course they have to put in prices within the tens of thousands of ISK if they want to compete with each other, and they lower their volumes to limit the chance that they have to relist these sell orders. I think that this is actually rife with opportunity for not really professional traders, but traders like myself that from time to time want to catch these 1 year low points and try to take advantage of that, which means that there is one more that I wanted to make, and that is in the advanced moon materials. I already made a move on the photonic metamaterials, probably a little bit too early, because I got these for below 15,000 ISK. If I look at this chart, that's still pretty good, but you can see now that we've dropped to 14.9 for the sellers and 14.3 potentially for the buyers. So an early buy, but I'm definitely wanting to take advantage of this. And then there was another one that was really pronounced. I'm not sure which one it was anymore. So let's go to, here it was, hypersynaptic fibers playing with 10,000 ISK. Normal price 12.5, 14k can sometimes be done. And here the buyers are in at less than 9,000 ISK. I have to try to make an investment in this at this point. I'm gonna take 8999 if I can. 8990 maybe is what I'll have to do, but we'll try to do 899. Yeah, I think that's what I have to do, and then we'll put that up for 3 months, and we will try to buy like close to 100 million again. So that's going to be 10,000 units. And buying below 9,000 ISK, being able to sell for 12,500, like a third of the price. No, maybe a little bit less. Oh, where's the price? Yep, there it is. Like a third of the price extra, just like that, to go back to the average. I think this is just too good not to take advantage of, so I'm gonna press yes on this one. Again, pretty aggressive, but I feel like we've got a much better chance now to actually trigger this. So we're gonna go for hypersynaptic fibers. Let's see if we can find them. Again, there they are. Add to the quick bar. And then I want to buy these for 8990. Okay, and these will become my new try to buys. Where are they? Trying to buy together with the Manticore, which I'm still trying to grab at 26 million. People are a bit more aggressive, and look at the difference. Not that much supply, decent demand. A lot of the others that I'm trying to buy, like the Basilisk here, this is the demand. All of this is the supply. In the Heretic, it's pretty noticeable as well. In the Manticore, it was pretty noticeable, and then in the Purifier, it's kind of crazy. So I think that right now, potentially also because of the market changes, that this is full of opportunity if you try to look for it. And so here I'm basically putting my ISK where my mouth is, trying to get some more trades going as well. While we're under the Wardeck, I have some extra time, of course, to do a couple of extra trips to Jita, analyze my own ETH talk, and try to take these advantages. So there you go, guys. That's going to be it for this video. A little bit about the Wardeck and a little bit about potential opportunities in the market. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.